Wilder Show podcast. I'm Scott. That's Lauren.
Hello.
Hi, Lauren. How are you today?
I'm well. How are you?
I'm good. Did you have a good Easter?
Lovely Easter.
Yeah. Yeah, it was good. It's good. And we had some good news that came on Easter Sunday. We'll talk about that.
Okay.
Instagram, you'll find us there. Wilder Show Pod is what you'll search. If you want to send us email here, just email to podcast@wildershow.com. The Wilder Show podcast drops Tuesdays and Fridays, 6 a.m. Central Time or before, on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, iHeart, Amazon, YouTube, on the TikTok now and again. Wherever you get your podcasts, would you like, rate, follow, subscribe, share, comment? And among the comments, one person who wrote on, I think it was on YouTube, said, yeah, after they became empty nesters, they went down from, 3,200 square feet to, I think, 1,400 or something. Yeah. Or maybe 28 to 1,400, something significant difference. So that was what we talked about last time.
Yep.
All right. Plenty of stuff to get into this time. I guess the very first thing, first of all, we have the president and his out-of-control tweets. We got to get to that at some point. Spaceships and what we're doing there at the moon. There is potential Supreme Court justice stuff in the news we have to get to. But we start with the just unbelievable news, the great news that came over the weekend, on Sunday, actually. You know, since we sat down last for the podcast, we had a fighter jet go down. We
did.
A Warthog hit, A-10 hit, and then the pilot ejected out in, friendly territory. But we had two men behind enemy lines.
Right.
And one was picked up rather quickly, but the other one, it was like 50 hours. It was really scary.
Quite.
It was resolved just after midnight, our time, on Easter Sunday. And I was up most of the night listening to, watching the coverage, just feeling so relieved. And how did we do it? Special Forces did it. I'll tell you, that's what happened. So we have to detail some of this. It was just a remarkable thing. There's a common saying in the Navy SEAL community, when you're under pressure, you don't rise to the occasion. You sink to your level of training. So don't expect to, all of a sudden, the adrenaline was really pumping and the woman was able to lift the car off the child.
You're only going to do as well as your training has prepared you.
Yeah. So you're not going to do all this great stuff when the pressure's on.
Yeah. When
the pressure's on, you sink to your level of training. So if it should happen that you're caught, for example, behind enemy lines, what do you do?
Whatever you're trained for.
That's it. Survive, evade, resist, escape. You might hear people talk about SERE training. SERE. It's S-E-R-E.
Okay.
Stands for survival, evasion, resistance, escape. The F-15 Eagle that was downed inside Iran, every pilot, every fighter pilot, every special operator or special forces, you have to go to SERE training school. You have to learn about surviving and evading and resisting and escaping. What do you do if you're behind enemy lines? Do you know how to gather water? Do you know how to build a fire with nothing? If you are surrounded, do you know how to evade capture? And if you can't evade capture, do you know how to resist interrogation?
Wow.
And then beyond that, are you prepared to escape? So it's SERE training. Survive, evade, resist, escape. Remember when we heard stories of terrorists who set off a bomb and then they would wait for the rescuers to come, right? The first responders, ambulances, first responders. And then once first responders come, they could wreak even more havoc.
Wow.
Right?
Yeah.
Right? We've heard of that kind of thing before. Well, when a plane like the F-15 Strike Eagle fighter is downed in a foreign country, you have to go back in. If you go back in, you're not going back in with one or going back in with two or going back in with one aircraft. You're going back in with a bunch to search for crew members. So it means what? It means more. It means more U.S. servicemen, planes, helicopters, all in harm's way, more. And just so you know, when you eject from an aircraft, that is a violent thing that happens. You know how it happens?
No.
Essentially, you blow off the hatch with explosives. You are in a fighter jet that is flying at Mach 2.5. So 2.5 times the speed of sound.
That alone, I can't even imagine, but go ahead.
So it could be going as much as 1,800 miles an hour.
Okay.
And in the middle of that, you punch a button, it explodes the canopy off where you're sitting. And then the next thing that happens is there is a jet explosion that is under the seat you're in that fires you like a rocket out of the jet. And it has to do it quickly because remember, the jet's going fast.
Yeah.
It has to clear the jet. So it's a violent thing that takes place. And those chairs they're in weigh like 200 pounds. Eject, and then the other guy has to eject. And just because you ejected out of the same plane in almost the same time does not mean you're going to land in the same area.
Sure.
But wherever you land, if somebody is trying to shoot down your jet and they make contact, they're going to see the parachutes. They're going to see, oh, it's over here.
Yeah.
Can they then find our men or men and women quickly? And that's when all that training kicks in.
Yeah.
And the first thing they do is to get away from the landing zone. Get away from the landing zone as quickly as possible. Cut away from your chute. Leave all that behind. And all they have with them, that they're not carrying a bunch of stuff. You've got probably a 9mm semi-automatic and a knife. I mean, you know, the cockpits are small.
Yeah.
You don't have any rifles. You're not carrying a...
No.
So war and behind enemy lines, right after talking about air superiority, air supremacy. In fact, he talked about supremacy, dominance, the president did. And then, like, really, not literally within seconds, but within hours, we had a fighter jet shot down and men trapped behind enemy lines. So when the president talks about bombing people back to the Stone Age,
right?
Hear that from the president, hear that from... Actually, what he said was bombing them back to the Stone Age where they belong. I mean, I was wondering at the time, what message did that send to the people of Iran? I mean, shouldn't we be constantly reminding them that we are trying to get them a better country?
Yeah.
That we are on their side? We want them to get what they deserve. Why are we constantly doing that? Constantly. I mean, wouldn't that be smart?
It sounds like a little confusion in the messaging, maybe.
I mean, what if pilots were shot down inside Iran? If a citizen found them, did you see the reward that the government put out? $67,000 if you find one of these pilots, don't harm them, deliver them to us alive. They want to use them as propaganda.
Sure.
Or to say, gosh, you really never know where we're going to put them. You probably, America, Israel, better be careful where you bomb. Because might be where one of your boys are. We got them. We got 2 of them. And we're going to move them around as a human shield. So if something like that happens, we want to make sure, and we've heard stories before where maybe you've seen in movies before, where someone was shot down or captured or was on the run behind enemy lines. And the locals, believing that America was doing the right thing, would hide them.
Yeah.
You know, put a turban on them. Put local dress on them and smuggle them around until they could be, you know, turned over to America. So it's important the way we talk about the people of a country. You can talk bad about the leadership of a country or the dictator or the direction. But when you talk about the country and you're going to bomb, their water's going to go away. All their bridges are going to go away. We're going to bomb the yogurt out of the entire country. You're done. Back to the Stone Age where you belong. Yeah. If we have somebody that is behind enemy lines, it seems to me that that's not likely going to result in, you know, somebody on the ground helping us.
Right.
So you ask me sometimes, well, what should he say? What should someone say? I'm going to tell you, I'm not a speechwriter. Obviously, we had that great story last time, Bill Sapphire.
Oh, yeah.
About the moon landing in 1969. Let me tell you what the president should have in every speech about the war. The president should include these words. And now let me speak directly to the people of Iran. We are here for you. We know you want to be free of the past. In our efforts to prepare the way for you to take back your country, there will be times when more than just military targets will be impacted. But that is never our goal, never our desire. The work the brave American service members are engaged in will keep America safe. It will help keep the world safe. But more immediately, it will give you the chance for something you haven't had in almost 50 years, a free Iran. Join us in the ways that you can and be ready for the moment when we can give you back what you have longed for, what you have worked for, suffered for, prayed for. We are very close to the day that you will have, for the first time in a generation, the country and the future you deserve. America is your friend and the friend of all people who want to be free.
Okay, that's very good.
There you go.
Very well said.
Yeah, but.
You would, no, there's no yeah, but.
Okay.
But you would think, as smart as that is, you would think there's somebody around him that's thought of that, right? That's offered something like that to him. Yeah. Is it just pushed away? Is it not? Is it not? Why would that not even be considered? Or is it just kind of an off-prompter thing? That those are the words in front of, I don't know. Does he have is there somebody sitting next to him when he tweets?
No, that's where we're going next.
Yeah.
Two things. On Saturday, I thought, oh man, when you really threaten to bomb people back into the Stone Ages where they belong, I'm going to have to be a little critical of that.
Yeah.
I don't think he should do that. And then Trump said, hold my beer. And Sunday morning put out a different tweet.
Yeah.
So here's what we're looking at. It's early in the morning, like midnight, 12:30, Sunday morning, Easter Sunday morning, 12:30 in the morning, Saturday night, Sunday morning. And I get the little alert that we found the second one. The second one is free. I think Trump's tweet said, we got him. And that was great news. So I immediately turned the news on, put my headphones on, and really watched it all night long. Very exciting. Then Sunday morning, getting ready to watch some of the news programs, which it messed up their world. Those news programs aren't always live, like Meet the Press and the Jake Tapper Show or whatever it's called, State of the Union, the other ones. They tape a lot of that stuff, and especially on Easter Sunday.
Right.
They would tape a lot. And I thought, this is going to mess them up. They're going to have to go live at 1 a.m. Eastern time. Somebody called and said, okay, you got to get back up here. We got to go live. Nothing can be taped. So I'm watching it. And I'm getting ready for some of the things on Sunday morning, in addition to getting ready for church and all that, of course, Easter Sunday. But the president tweets at about 8 o'clock our time. You know what I was really excited about? I thought, this is going to be great. What a great thing we have. We had a Friday that looked terrible. A lot of despair on Friday. And Saturday, no news. And on Sunday, we had very good news. Yeah. He's alive. I'm talking about the pilot. But isn't it interesting that it really coincided with Easter weekend? And I thought, man, Trump could really do something good with that.
What a story.
What a great, wouldn't that be something? And so as I'm trying to anticipate good, because I'm basically a very positive person.
Oh, I know that about you.
Here comes the president in his big muddy shoes, tromping all over the greatness. I'm going to say the words, but I'll bleep them out because it's powerful.
Enough said right there, right? That you can't read. You could, but you wouldn't.
But I'm going to say them, but I'll edit them out.
Okay.
Okay. Here's what he posted, 8 o'clock our time. Talking about the future of Iran and talking about a deadline. Tuesday, he has not said Happy Easter yet, by the way.
Right.
Tuesday will be Power Plant Day and Bridge Day, all wrapped up in one in Iran. There will be nothing like it. Open the fucking straight, you crazy bastards, or you will be living in hell. Just watch. Praise be to Allah. President Donald J. Trump. The foul language, of course, offensive to many, obviously most. But sort of the making fun of religion, I just don't know, what is the positive thing?
There is no positive
thing. What in the world is he thinking? I don't get it. I told you for a while, I think something's wrong with him. I know
you think that, but
I'm not just talking about a moral compass and that kind of stuff. I understand all that.
You somehow think it's worse than that the capacity for something like this wasn't evident, 2 years ago or 6 years ago or beyond.
No, the capacity is always there. The capacity is always there. But to understand when and if to do it is different. The governor is down. There's no governor that is saying, yeah, you can't. Not of all days, probably the day you drop bombs on Easter. Don't drop F-bombs on Easter.
I just don't think his governor was something we've ever been able to count on.
But again, I'm not talking about, he has always had the capacity to do it. There's just a part of me that says, Wouldn't you want ever to do anything to bring people closer to agreeing with what you want to do? Do you have to beat everyone into submission? Or isn't it good to have friends? Or at least not have enemies? Nobody's saying you have to say things to warm people up. Just don't say things that make people run away. Yeah. And so, yeah, it's not even about he's had bad stuff to say before. I'm just saying, here we had a very good story. A very, very good story. Honestly, truly, he uses the phrase a lot, but the likes of which people had never seen before. This rescue was unbelievable. Mm-hmm. Dozens and dozens of planes and helicopters, a couple of hundred special force and others.
Yeah.
The CIA was involved. This guy that was injured, the second guy, he climbed 7,000 feet up into a mountain area and hid in a crevasse until he could be rescued.
Wow.
I mean, it will be a movie. It will be a movie at some point. You could say you voted for him twice or three times. Everybody can say, isn't he better than Kamala Harris? That's not the issue.
Yeah.
The issue is not whether mutilation is better than murder. How about this? I'm against both of them. I don't like either one of them. We can't always run around and say, find something that is worse to make us feel better about the thing that is completely unacceptable. This is completely unacceptable. If for no other reason, it's counterproductive. Even if it's not offensive to people, or even if you could excuse all of the other things, it's counterproductive.
Yeah.
It's not a good idea to have no one be your friend inside a country when there's a possibility your servicemen could be behind enemy lines. We want every sheep herder. We want every person who's a farmer. We want every person who works out in the fields, if they come across a downed aircraft, to want to be our friend, that we are there to help them. Mm-hmm. Anyway, I was disappointed, but disappointment is the gap between expectation and delivery.
It is.
That's what a Wilderism told me one time. So I guess I shouldn't be disappointed, because if my expectations are low and they are met, that's not really disappointment. It's just a very poor delivery. Mm-hmm. So anyway, we'll see where this all goes. At the press conference yesterday, the deadline is tonight, we're told.
It's been a little bit of a moving target.
Tad. It was going to be 3 weeks ago. It was going to be 2 weeks ago. So they'll give me 10 more days. Or give me 2 weeks. I'll give them 10 days. Give them 7 more days. I'll give them 2 more days. So it was supposed to end last night. Last night was the end. The president said in his press conference yesterday, they asked me for 2 weeks. Mr. President, give them 2 weeks. I gave them 10 days. He said, actually, the deadline's Tuesday. I guess I gave them 11 days. And then what he said was, I didn't feel like it was right to do it the day after Easter. As opposed to how he did feel it was right to put the tweet out during sunrise service. Supreme Court, Samuel Alito, over the weekend it came out that he was taken to the hospital recently. And there is talk now about maybe that is going to be an opening.
Wow. Do we know what's going on?
They seem to suggest that he was taken just because he was dehydrated or something. But who knows? I mean, the fact that we didn't know anything. So they weren't going to tell us anything.
Yeah.
And then we find out about it and they tell us something. I don't know. I don't know whether it's his personal thing. He didn't want to talk about it or whatever. But, early on when the president was elected, we said he has 18 months. That's it. He has 18 months to get a bunch of stuff done before his side potentially loses the House, maybe even the Senate. So what he does or what he seeks to do early matters. And here we are.
Yeah.
Fewer than 7 months till midterms. Fewer than 7 months. You should be nervous. And this news about Alito is troubling really on several levels. But as ChatGPT would insert now, but here's where it gets even bigger. The polls show approval by Republicans for the president, but that's not the whole story. There's another very important metric, and it is the motivation to get out and vote. Which side is more motivated to vote? I mean, both sides face challenges, and then there are what's called the double haters. The double haters.
Who are the double haters?
They hate both parties.
Who are they going to vote for?
That's the question. Who will they vote for? Who will the double haters vote for? And they fell toward Trump last time, and it gave them the win. I give him a shot. Yeah, don't like her. She was never They tried to shove her down our throats, et cetera. They talk about Kamala Harris.
Yeah.
But now the double haters are tipping the other way. So who do you hate less? The double haters. Holding the House and the Senate means keeping the committees. Just go over a little brief civics. If you hold the majority, you keep the committees, which means you keep the chairmanships of the committees, which means you will decide what will and will not be pursued, which laws or bills, rather, to put forth if you're in the House, which investigations to pursue if you're in the House, which judicial nominees you'll allow confirmation hearings for in the Senate. So holding the House is important. Holding the Senate is important. If you hold the House, it means we won't be mired, maybe, in investigations and impeachment hearings, which we certainly will if Democrats win, which, by the way, they're not so much to remove him from office or to, convict him. It's really more about keeping that alive for the 2028 election. Yeah. Keep the negativity. Just keep stirring it up and stirring it up and stirring it up. In that sense, losing the House is important in the immediate. So no impeachment, whatever. Or if Republicans do lose it, it impacts the next 4 years. I mean, who's going to potentially become president?
Right.
But the Senate, same thing, holding the committees, all that kind of stuff. But in the Senate, that also includes the Judiciary Committee. It's where we're talking about the Supreme Court. So without holding the Senate, it will either mean a Trump nominee to the Supreme Court will have no chance of being confirmed, or it could mean if he has the chance to make a nomination in an effort to make sure it's somebody that he believes can, get confirmed, that he would back off a bit and nominate someone that would not be as strident toward the things that are important to him and the people that elected him. Either way, though, it'll be a weaker result for the things that people who elected him want. So as we look at the Supreme Court and the possibility of another opening sometime soon, it is important for that opening to happen as quickly as possible, maybe right after June. The session ends in June. They'd be cutting it close between June and November to get a nominee, get it all pushed through. If Democrats win the House and the Senate, if they take the White House back in 28, let me tell you what they're going to do. Immediately, they're going to move to change the number of Supreme Court justices from 9 to 13.
Wow.
Which would give the sitting president 4 nominees. So they'd be 4 liberal, probably wildly liberal, as liberals view the conservatives as wildly conservative. Although, if you look at the way the 3 that Trump has put in there, they have not always ruled with him. So I tap the brakes on suggesting it's such a wildly conservative court. It's not. But if Democrats win the House and the Senate and the White House, and they move it to 13, which I believe they will, the whole point of that is to undo any progress that conservative presidents have made, including whatever Trump has done. And it really will be, I think, in that sense, game over. And I bring up all this because the whole one-man show thing, which really is Trump's nature, he doesn't need to build a coalition of the willing with other nations before going to war with Iran. Trump knows best. He'll just do it. And no need to build support by the people of the United States, not going before them, even 5 weeks into it, not going before the American people and explaining, here's where we are, here's why I did it, here's how success is being measured, and here's where we are as we manage toward that success. Hasn't happened. He doesn't build consensus. And it's a bad strategy. Well, what we need in the midterms is a coalition. And actually more than that, it's going to take getting independents, the double haters, and the GOP will need to get their voters motivated to get to the polls. Democrats were motivated to get to the polls when Barack Obama became the candidate, right? When he was a Democrat nominee. Big deal.
Yeah.
A lot of people, first black, blah, blah, blah. So it really got a lot of, so it wasn't so much that he got a greater percentage of the people that always vote. It was that more people were motivated.
Are people excited to vote? Yeah.
And Trump was the same way. Trump brought a bunch of people that's like, I don't do elections. And they said, maybe I will this time. And they did it. And so the question is, who's going to have more excitement, I guess, in the midterm. Hard in the midterms. Less difficult for Democrats. They hate President Trump. They will say, listen, elect us and we will impeach him in a second. And they will. Absolutely, they will. Anyway, that is all on the ballot in the midterms. NASA, we'll talk a little space. Write this down, Lauren. Space, the final frontier. A Texas tour and NASA. When the kids were, I don't know, I guess in 7th grade and 4th grade, summer before they went into those grades, Caroline was about to be in 7th grade and the twin boys were about to be in 4th grade. We took a Texas tour summer vacation. Wasn't that big a deal. All the Texas things. I mean, in 1 week, we hit a whole bunch of them. Austin, the Bob Bullock Museum, the state capitol. Next day, San Antonio, the Alamo, the Mercado, the Riverwalk. The next day, San Jacinto Monument, and the whole history behind the Battle of San Jacinto, when we won the war and became our very own country in 1836. Then to Houston, took the NASA tour.
Sure.
After that, to Galveston, a relaxing last night, Hotel Galvez, and then the long trip straight back home. Taking pictures along the way, knowing that the kids would have their projects for Texas history. Well, here he is and so-and-so. Here they are and so-and-so. And here they are. Put the little poster together, right? All that kind of stuff. I mean, I wanted them to have stuff for the school, but honestly, it was more a chance to brand Texas into their little souls. And as I said, part of that was taking the NASA tour. I'm sure it's the same thing today. You ever take the NASA tour?
I have.
Yeah.
Twice.
Yeah. Oh, really?
Yeah.
And
it was our 3rd grade thing. I went with two of my own 3rd graders.
Nice. I'm sure they still do it on the NASA tour. The tour guide holds up a cell phone.
Yeah.
As you're looking there at whatever it's called, something central, where you look into the room, then into the pit, and it's where all the people were. And they were calling the shots. And, Houston, we have a problem to hear that and all that kind of stuff. And the tour guide holds up a cell phone and says something like this: you have more computing power in your cell phone, or actually, because I took the tour a long time ago, they might have said in your calculator, than we had landing a man on the moon.
Isn't that crazy?
It is crazy. It's almost unbelievable. There's one more thing about NASA. It's fun to watch. I've been watching it a little bit. But, I told you that taking off on April 1st, so many things saying, wow, isn't that really something? You fooled us before, and now you're going to fool us again on April 1st. And again, I know, I dismiss all that. I want to read a Carl Sagan quote. This is great. This is from his book, Pale Blue Dot, A Vision of the Human Future in Space. I won't try and say it the way he would say it, but he has a very interesting voice. He said, speaking of looking at the Earth from outside the Earth, and he writes, look at that dot. That's here. That's home. That's us. On it, everyone you love, everyone you know, everyone you ever heard of, every human being who ever was, lived out their lives.
That's so good. Yeah.
And it goes on, but that's the best part. But, just one more thought about it. It is interesting that when people go away from the Earth, I mean, you would think, for example, in this group of 4 astronauts, they're getting closer and closer and closer to the moon. By the time you're hearing this, they've already slingshotted around it. But even though as they look out, the moon is bigger than the Earth, they are closer to the moon than the Earth. But it's funny to me always, the people that are in space always look back at and are concentrated on the Earth.
Sure.
I mean, they look back and say, I can't believe, in this vast void, that's where we live. That's where we are. This is all we have. And from up here, we can't see all the borders, and I know all the real, warm and fuzzy things you could say, which is all true. Down on the Earth, you get closer, you got problems. People want to, destroy each other. But I just find it interesting that the perspective, when they're in, rather than say they're finally going to space, they're going out there to see this stuff. We've waited 50 years, whatever it's been. And it seems to me they'd be looking out the front window and going, we're getting closer. We're getting closer. But instead of going, look back, isn't that beautiful?
Why do you think that is?
It's the way God made us, I think. I do. We are
a longing for home, a tether.
We are tethered. Mm-hmm. We've had that conversation before. We are tethered to the earth.
Yeah.
And as we get away from it, we're drawn back to it. Our attention is drawn back to it because we belong. We're from here. We're of here. Mm-hmm. And this is where we belong. Yeah. Anyway, hopefully everything ends up well with a nice, safe splashdown. Oh, it is time for Scattershoot.
Let's go.
Wilder Show Scattershoot. All right.
You don't go to many movies. When was the last time you were in a movie theater?
1970. No, that's not true.
It wasn't that big a surprise. I mean, I think I know. I think I know of movies you've seen more recently than that. So if I really thought about it, I would know that you weren't. I think we saw Toy Story together with a whole passel of kids. That was before the turn of the century.
No, that's true. I would say probably it might have been one of the Mission Impossible movies.
Oh, okay.
My mom used to like to go to see those.
You saw Top Gun. Did you see Maverick?
Not at the theater.
You didn't.
I know. No, I didn't. Yeah, I know.
What do you have against movie theaters?
Nothing. I just don't have time.
You don't have time.
Well, I got.
That's right.
Okay, I'm not going to detail all my responsibilities for you.
Okay.
But just if I have time, I don't tend to choose.
No frivolous pursuits.
I know I like movies. I've seen the movies. I don't have the 5 hours to do the whole leave the house, get there, the whole thing. It's okay. I would go if conditions were right.
You're a little bit more in your. I was going to say you're in your hermit era.
I'm in my contemplative era.
Okay, that works. Actually, none of that has to do with the movie thing.
Well, thanks for bringing that up. Thanks for making me go through all that for no reason.
Because I wondered if I know you watch a lot though. Because I've heard you say many times, if it's on, I watched it because it was on.
I only watch it because it's on.
Right. Yeah. So I wonder if you've noticed how much longer movies overall have gotten over the last few years.
Yeah.
Does it hit the same when you're sitting in your in your lazy boy as it does when you're sitting in a seat in the movie theater?
That's a good question. I don't really know, but I think some movies are quite long. I mean, the whole Lord of the Rings trilogy. Each movie was 3 hours.
Yeah.
All of the Godfathers way back when.
Oh,
they were quite long. Mm-hmm. But there was a day when almost every movie, it seems like, was maybe 80 minutes long.
Well,
maybe that.
Yeah, it's certainly not unusual to look at a movie that came out in the 70s or 80s and see that the runtime was less than an hour and a half. We
just had something we were talking about where you said, I bet it was only 80 minutes long or
80
something.
minutes. Yeah. A tight 80 minutes. Yeah. That's a really good movie.
Yeah.
Well, the movie theater experience is certainly getting longer, even if all of the movies themselves are not getting longer.
Well, now you're introducing other things than the length of the movie.
A lot of the movies are getting longer, but when you know that from 1980 to 2025, the average length of a wide release theatrical title, and there were 36,000 films that were released theatrically from 1980 to 2025. Okay. And the length of those movies have grown from about 106 minutes in the 90s and early 2000s to 114 minutes in recent years.
That's it?
Now, that's not very much.
No.
That's not very much. But films with big budgets, and as time has gone on and budgets have gotten bigger and bigger and bigger, they tend to be even longer. Plus, pre-show advertising and trailers have expanded. The advertising, the spots that you see before a movie starts, as well as the trailers, 20 to 30 minutes before the movies even start.
Yeah.
So if the runtime is not, if an average movie, you've only, tacked on 8 minutes to it, when you add that extra time before the movie starts, everything is longer. The time that you spend in the theater is a lot greater.
And then that's the kind of thing I was talking about. It's a very involved thing. I always look forward to trailers. I thought trailers, that was part of my favorite part of going to a movie, was to see what was, coming soon.
Yeah.
That part I love. And I understand explaining to me that out there is the popcorn and go get the hot dogs and the whatnots.
The dancing popcorn and hot dogs.
That's okay. I have no problem with that. Drive me to that. But any other ads, what is going on? I know what they say is, well, the movie theater tickets would cost even more if we didn't put in all the Pepsi ads and all the KFC ads and all the Coca-Cola ads and all the perfume ads and all the, it's like, dude, I am paying. First of all, I'm taking time out. I'm going somewhere else. I am paying to drive there. I am paying for food. I am paying to view it. And now you're making me sit through commercials before I can watch it.
Well, if you time it right, we always, if we are going to a movie, we know that it might say that it starts at 7:05, but you can really walk in at about 7:20.
Yeah.
Now, especially now that so many theaters have assigned seats. Yeah, you know exactly where you're going to sit.
I guess that's true. I always sit on the back row. I love the back row.
I like the back row.
Back row's great because nobody behind you can see you have your phone on low.
But
if you needed to.
Yeah.
If you have babysitters, whatnot.
Yeah.
You might have babysitters.
So.
Yeah. I'm not saying that, play Sudoku or whatever. Play Candy Crush.
That's why I like going to the movies so much.
Putting that away.
I'm totally, it's just so much easier.
You can always in real life just put your phone aside.
I try to do that. It's just harder for me. I'm being completely transparent.
You need a movie to make you do it. And movie theater to make you do it.
It's not that I need the movie for it, I guess. Certainly I could be more self-disciplined on my couch, but there are more distractions at home, for sure.
Yes.
And in the movie theater, everything gets dark and you've got that giant screen and all there is to focus on is the Diet Coke and the popcorn and the movie. Okay. But there are certain genres of films that are longer too. You want to guess which one?
Well, let's see.
Which are the longest?
Well, not love stories, not rom-coms. I would say...
we'd never get you guys to the theater if rom-coms got longer.
I don't think, exactly. Not rom-coms. I think it would be something like maybe an action movie probably or longer.
Action films now average about 128 minutes.
Yeah, that's good.
That's 25 minutes longer than just a few decades ago. The Marvel movies, Fast and Furious, things Mission Impossible, franchise films tend to be a little bit longer too. But then there are plenty of non-franchise films that have also gotten that are much longer. Have you seen? Well, obviously you haven't seen Project Hail Mary yet. If you haven't been to the theater, I think that's only in the theater. 156 minutes.
No, thanks.
Dune Part 2.
No,
I've not seen any of the Dune movies. 166 minutes. No. Oppenheimer. Did you watch Oppenheimer at home? I didn't finish Oppenheimer. That's because I watched it at home.
It was 3,000 minutes or something.
Might as well have been
180 something.
180 minutes.
Yeah, so it's right at 3 hours.
Yeah,
but 3 hours is not too long. I mean, if it's a good movie, it's not too long. All the Lord of the Rings movies were about 3 hours.
Yeah,
it's funny that they released on the on the DVD, or you could buy something of the Lord of the Rings, and it was like Lord of the Rings, the uncut version. What? What? You mean the edited version was 3 hours? I can go 4 hours and 17 minutes? Yeah. Gosh.
I think, there are two ways to look at it. Make them a little bit shorter and you leave us wanting more. But if you make them longer, you could just say, we're just trying to give you your money's worth.
No, I know. Yeah, the last, and I guess it is the last, the finale of Mission Impossible, quite long. And part of that, to explain it, I think, they did have to do an awful lot of almost retelling. They had, because there were so many previous Mission Impossibles.
Yeah.
And so what they did was basically gathered people from all of those from way back. They were also part of this finale. And so you did have to be reminded, that was from the guy. That was the guy from right. And there was you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It wasn't just like one guy, one nemesis, and Tom Cruise and Tom Cruise's helpers. It wasn't like that. It was so much bigger than that.
Yeah.
And it really felt like two movies. It felt like there was one movie and you say, whew, that was really good. What? They're still going? So, yeah, action movies probably, that would make sense.
I did hear somebody say just over the weekend, too, that it had been such a long time since they'd been to the movie theater. They'd been watching so much at home. They went to the movie theater and they kept looking for it. Like they wanted to, hit the progress bar to see how much longer.
How much left?
Yeah.
That's funny.
It's one thing that you don't know when you're you're at the theater, unless you've paid really attention, really close attention to the runtime, and you could, set a little timer, and then I guess you'd always know how much time was left.
We've talked about that before. How that's one of the things I don't like about there's going to be an end, right?
Yeah,
and you don't know exactly when it's going to be, but you're closer to it than you were like 5 minutes ago, and it can't go on forever.
Yeah.
And you have some sense, it's like there's no way to completely suspend disbelief. Mm-hmm. You can't really be lost in it like a story.
You mean if you know when it's going to end?
Or, if the thing is, you don't have to know when it's going to end. You know that it's going to end. Mm-hmm. And knowing that it's going to end is all you have to know. It is going to end at some point. Mm-hmm. And I don't know. It's what I hate about trailers. Trailers, they show you 3 or 4 or 5 different things, and you go, well, I know he's at least alive when he's flying over the volcano.
Well, I think that's a fairly modern complaint about trailers.
I don't
too,
like that.
Is that sometimes it can almost feel like you don't need to see the movie anymore because you've seen so much in the trailer.
I just we know he marries the girl. So as long as I can sit in the movie and just keep, okay, well I know they're both going to be alive until they get married. I saw them in the trailer. It's got the wedding ceremony. Mm-hmm. That's what I like.
Fool you though. Could be a dream. You've never been fooled.
Rarely. I mean, in real life, always.
You know what tech neck is?
Tech neck? Mm-hmm. I think that's when you've been leaning down and looking at your phone too much.
Yeah.
Is that for real? I was sort of kidding.
It is. But listen,
really?
It meant something different. I think funny. Several years ago. It used to mean, or when we first heard the term,
tech neck,
it meant sore shoulders, sore neck, posture problems.
Correct.
That we were developing as a people who were spending so much time hunched over their phone. I don't think people cared so much about that.
No.
What they care about, though, tech neck means something different now.
What does it mean?
Tech neck means the increased aging of your neck.
Oh, really?
That women predominantly
the front of your
are
neck?
Noticing. Yes. So, I don't know if guys really muscles? Care about this. That it doesn't really have anything to do with your muscles.
Okay.
It's the skin. I mean, the skin on your neck ages, obviously.
Sure. Yeah, it gets a little bit loose there sometimes.
Yeah.
But I just meant the muscles would keep it taut. If you're not using the right muscles, if you use different muscles, you might have your posture is different, and maybe your neck, your little jawline appears.
People are treating this with creams, fancy creams,
of course,
red lights, things like that.
Red lights.
Yeah. Actually, I'm not even. It's U1 therapy.
Is that?
I don't know how well it works.
It's with
red
lights. Red lights. I don't know. I don't know nothing about all that.
But it is. People are nervous now about not only the posture, and forget the fact that we're also all losing our attention spans are shot. But mention that my neck might be aging a little bit more quickly, and I will take notice of that. I will buy, just give me the link and I'll buy it. I won't buy it, but I think that's the reaction of a whole lot of ladies, especially who are noticing this, and companies who are responding to this. And now there are all kinds of new things on the on the market, skin tightening creams and serums, specifically targeting the neck. Now you can perform strengthening exercises to improve posture and relieve tension, but that's no fun. If I can just buy something.
That's right.
Send it to me and we'll fix my neck.
Well, if it's any comfort to you said they're mainly ladies, but if it's any comfort to anyone who's going through this and you're worried that that's going to be a problem, your neck, the fact that you're on your phone so much might mean you don't have to worry about relationships with people. You may not have a real social life.
Well, that's the whole thing.
To have the neck get in the way of.
I think all of these things we weren't really that worried about. You know, my posture, I can do without my posture.
That's it.
Friends, I can do without friends. An attention span, I'm not worried about my attention span.
I got a doom scroll.
My neck is gonna age even faster. You know, that reminds me of something else too. I want to ask you about that. I think it's kind of not petty. It's not very important.
Okay.
I feel like I notice
my favorite topic.
Okay, I saw something about Ryan Gosling over the weekend. We were just talking about Project Hail Mary, so he's been in the news a lot.
Yes.
And I saw a comment on something that was written. Somebody said, "What has he done to his face?"
Wait, was it Ryan Gosling or was it the other one?
I saw it about Ryan Gosling.
Really?
Yeah.
Who was the one that was in? Oh golly, who was in La La Land? That was him.
He was in La La Land.
No, I'm thinking of something else. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
I think I never notice. I don't notice it when men do it, when men do things to their faces.
Oh, I can always tell.
But when it's women,
you can notice.
I feel like I'm really sensitive to that. A little judgy about it, maybe.
Yeah. I'm sort of that way with guys. I think guys.
Maybe it's just a gender thing.
I think guys are. Well, first of all, society allows us, to be.
I didn't
to
mean
lose it and still be okay.
What do you mean?
I mean, our hair can go gray and society doesn't chastise us. Our bodies, we can get older. We're allowed to get older. That's what I'm saying.
In a way that's different than for women.
Men are sort of society allows. Look at any newscast. Some old white guy and some, 27-year-old blonde girl.
Yeah.
And when she turns 29, we'll just get another 27-year-old. Mm-hmm. I mean, it's not right.
No.
But all the guys, it seems like, or look at John Scott over on Fox. Mm-hmm. I don't hardly ever watch Fox, but he's got really, really white hair. He's old. Mm-hmm. He's not an ugly guy. He's a good-looking guy. Yeah. But I'm just saying, he's you wouldn't have a woman that looks like that ever. Mm-hmm. Society wouldn't allow it. And you could say, well, that's right or it's wrong. I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't think it's right. Mm-hmm. I like everybody just taking it easy. I saw this thing the other day about Meryl Streep and somebody else, girls, all women, talking about allowing themselves to age
naturally.
Yeah. I thought it was great.
Oh, I mean, it's definitely more the exception than the rule, I would think, these days. Mm. Yeah, I just wondered if you'd noticed that about Ryan Gosling. Because
I would have to look at a thing of him. I thought it was the other one. Who's the other guy? He was in Limitless. Who was that?
Oh, yes. Bradley Cooper.
Okay. Has he done, I think he has done something.
I think I saw where somebody talked about that too, but I don't know.
It looked more, as far as I could tell, it looked more like, yes, sort of thing.
Looked a little more taut.
For men, I can always tell, one of my superpowers is the dyed hair.
Yeah.
That it's not like everybody should do whatever they want to do. You want to dye your hair. I'd say be careful though, because different light will reveal different things about your hair. Mm-hmm. If it's all the same shade, it's unlikely. No one's hair is naturally exactly. I mean, maybe someone in Ethiopia or someone from Japan. Mm-hmm. Their hair from the root to the tip is probably exactly the same. But for many
highlights,
people,
no.
But for most people, for most Americans, for most European or Americans, it doesn't work like that. Mm-hmm. So if you're gonna, jimmy with it, it's okay. But you might want to takes a little art.
So if you're gonna get work done, just get really good work done.
Yeah. And that's the thing. There's the subtleness. And look, there may be 100,000 reasons that people want to do stuff. What do I care if they want to do face stuff or other stuff? It's whatever makes you feel good. It's okay. But sometimes
I shouldn't be judgy about it.
No. I think sometimes though I don't know. I think it's like sometimes people can get addicted to that.
Oh, for sure.
To like they put all their faith in the way they look. Mm-hmm. All you have to do is look at, and I hate to say it, but it's ladies. Look at the ladies of Hollywood. As they get older, they all look exactly the same.
Yeah.
Their cheeks are the same. Their foreheads are the same. Their lips are the same. Their eyes are the same. They're like the same.
It's got to be really hard to compete in that business. If that is your business and you have to look a certain way. Well,
no, you don't have to compete anymore.
What if you lose the opportunity to work
then,
as much?
You know what? Oit to boit. Okay. I mean, that's the way it goes. You had 20 good years in the movies. You made more money than anybody else out here working at the grocery store. Just, maybe you don't get to make movies anymore. You could do other things. You know,
like what?
I don't know. They could do a podcast. They could do something. So do.
We don't need any more podcasts.
Yeah. No, you know what I mean. You could do something. You could write a book. You could do lots of things. You could garden. Look at
garden. If you were really speaking seriously to someone who was in that position, you might seem a little bit dismissive.
Why don't you garden?
Yeah.
I mean, I wouldn't say that to somebody. I'm just saying that life is bigger than everybody paying attention to you. But I mean, some people who spent their life to play football, they're done at 38.
That's true.
If you spent your life doing something else, you can't do this certain thing anymore.
You even just said those guys, though, they're going to look good on television for the next 40 years.
That's all I'm saying is maybe you find a 2.0. Maybe you find a something else. Maybe that doesn't sound like it at all. But I'm believing in the people beyond their own default belief in themselves. That I am an actor. I have to keep doing this. If you sing long enough and your voice is no longer as good as it was, I'm talking about Broadway type singing.
Yeah.
Maybe you can't do that anymore. Maybe you have to go to Broadway acting as opposed to the singing. Maybe your voice isn't happening anymore. You have to find something else. That's okay. You're talented. Find something else. Do something else. It's okay.
You got it all figured out. We can move on.
Yeah. Anybody who has problems, just write them to me and I'll help you figure it out.
You should have been on the Caribbean Airlines flight from Kingston, Jamaica to New York on Saturday because there was a baby delivered with no medical help.
Done it many times. Done it many times.
Delivered at 30,000 feet.
No problem. No problem at all. Let me just tell you what you need. You need all you really need is clean towels and hot water. That's all you need.
It's like it's the Larry Tate school of baby delivery.
And you need some sharp tool for the umbilical cord. But that's it. That's really all you need for the most part. It's not that big a deal. Giving birth is not that big a deal.
There was no emergency was declared during the flight. So there was I don't even know if there was anybody medically trained to help. Right? But the baby was born. There was a medical team waiting to care for the mom and the baby as soon as the plane landed. And the pilot suggested that the baby be named Kennedy.
Because they were flying into?
That's where they were landing. That's where they landed on
Saturday.
That's cool.
It was a girl, you said?
It was a girl.
A baby girl.
Baby girl.
And it originated where? In Jamaica?
In Kingston, Jamaica.
Yeah.
The baby wasn't born early, but it was a full term baby, but she had not been experiencing any symptoms of labor before she got on the plane.
Well, full term. I mean, I wouldn't expect you should fly if you're full term.
There were things about other babies that have been born on airlines and what they usually say. Usually your doctor will say they don't want you to travel. They don't want you to be away from them more for 6 weeks before.
That's right.
But if she was in Kingston, Jamaica, and she was coming back to where her doctor was.
Hey, let me ask you this. What if it's not an American citizen and she gives birth in the plane headed to America? Is that U.S. soil?
Ooh, I don't know. I bet somebody listening knows that. I don't know that, though.
Anyway.
I don't know what all the details were. You know, when I said full term, I know that she had I think airline policies are different. A lot of times your doctor won't want you to travel 6 weeks or closer than that to your due date. But she had apparently been cleared to fly. They were not expecting the baby to come, over the next few hours.
Right.
But,
and that just happened on Saturday.
Just happened on Saturday.
Son of a gun. That is Wilder Show Scattershoot and the Wilder Show podcast. Instagram, we are there. Search Wilder Show Pod, and you'll like it and all that. If you want to send us email podcast@wildershow.com, or simply comment wherever you get your podcast. That's a good way to do it. Engage us on those platforms. Spotify, Apple Podcast, iHeart, Amazon, YouTube, the TikTok, and this Wilder Show podcast drops Tuesdays and Fridays, 6 a.m. Central Time or before. Wherever you get your podcasts, like, rate, follow, subscribe, and share. And Lauren, thank you.
You bet.
And we'll see you next time.
Da 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 da.